Welcome into the Casual Gaming Conversation. I'm Connor, that's Nick, and joining us this week for the first time ever, we have Laura, my wife, joining us to talk about some Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. How we doing, Laura?
Great. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Doing well. This is a fun one because when Connor initially was just like, hey, Zelda, Laura, I'm like, that makes perfect sense. Laura's a huge Zelda fan. And I didn't know I knew Laura was a huge Zelda fan. And then I was just hanging out the other day and I was thinking about this review and everything. I'm like, Laura has so many Korok seeds in Zelda. Like, I just thinking about what it takes to get one and then thinking about the journey that you must have gone on over the years is fucking insane. So I'm happy to have you.
It was all in one go though for Breath of the Wild. It was like you hyper fixated on getting the Korok seeds, and then it was just like, okay, we're gonna meticulously go through the entire map, right?
Yeah, well, so I had played it once, and then I went back later and replayed it because I wanted to play it again, and then I got all the Korok seeds that playthrough.
And
so I've played it twice, and I'm at like a lot of hours.
And you still need to do it in tiers. And
I have not done the Korok seeds.
You're going to do it, correct?
I will at some point do that. Yeah, I've done everything else. Like I did all the signs and all the like other like side things.
It comes in waves for you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if we're on the subject, might as well bring it up now. What's everyone's Zelda experience?
I mean, I have the same as Laura, I think, except you've beaten Link's Awakening. I played Ocarina. So
I've only played the Switch games.
Yes, I played Ocarina, Tears, Breath of the Wild, and Echoes. And that's it.
That's so, because like for me, we were trying to fill in each other's gaps with our Zelda journeys. For me, I played Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. I'm on the last boss of Tears of the Kingdom, and I know that it's apparently fucking epic. I really love that game. It's an amazing video game. And then now Echoes of Wisdom. So I'm still a novice in this, but we're trying to get enough viewpoints in here to be like, all right, Zelda. Which I mean, I'm excited about this review just in general because I feel like this is a little bit different than any review we've done. The last like Switch main review that we did was Mario Wonder, right?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, we didn't do something for Peach Showtime, right?
We were going to have Brady review it after he finished it, and then he finished that game, and he was like, can I just review it now? We're like, yeah. And then on the stream, he was like, 6.5, I guess 7 out of it's all right. Like, it works. Okay. Yeah. And then we just, all right, we're rating Jim Tasty. Like, we're done. And that was the whole stream there. So it was a great run and everything. I enjoyed playing some Switch earlier this year, but this feels like the first major Switch title in a very long time. After last year was banger after banger after banger. Pikmin 4, Mario Wonder, Tears of the Kingdom, one of the best Switchers ever. And now this really feels like the swan song. This is the last major title. The next time we hear from Nintendo, hopefully this week or next week or sometime this fucking month, please, we get the Switch 2 announcement, and then it's all just lead up to there.
I just want to know. I just want to know things for Switch 2 at this point. It's been long enough. But when people talk about how long the Switch generation is, they're like, it's 7 years. Like, the PS4 generation was 7 years too. It's like, but why does the Switch just feel so underpowered in comparison that it just feels like it's gone longer, I think?
We're drafting Pokemon games later, and I'm like, Scarlet and Violet, watching some of those streams, because I watched a lot of people stream that game, was painful. Like, this game doesn't run. Like, it's broken. It's a lot of fun, but it's fucking broken, and it's just because it's on the Switch at this point.
You were just playing Scarlet and Violet, right?
Yeah. And then also, like, the game we're going to review later also runs badly on the dock because of the Switch
horribly.
2, or the Switch being so underpowered.
Which is so crazy because it's like a cutesy top-down 2D game that doesn't like have like these high-fidelity graphics, and for some reason it cannot run. It just runs terribly.
I don't know
so many
if
frames.
it's just because I got like more used to it as I played along, but I went and played on the handheld to start because my power was out. That's the other journey that I've had with this. I always play games on the big screen, and this one I was playing handheld because my power was out for those first couple days reviewing it. And then I put it on y'all's big screen and put it on the dock and everything. It ran a little slow, it was a little laggy, and then this time around I went and played a lot of handheld. Then I put it on my TV for the final boss and everything, and it ran great at the very end. So maybe towards the end it gets a little bit better. That was just my experience, but yes, it did struggle on y'all's TV.
I played almost all of it in handheld mode after that first playthrough or that first like session of doing it docked. I was like, I can't do this. I'm a frame rate snob though. Like you can handle it. I just cannot deal with it. So
I mean, I'm still like in a weird spot right now with the gaming journey that we've been on this year, where I'm like, this game forced me to play handheld. I fucking hate playing handheld on the Switch, and this game made me love playing handheld on the Switch.
I don't mind it if it's something that's a little bit more casual, something not like as intensive, like Celeste hurts my hands because the Joy-Cons are just digging into my hands as I'm like white knuckle holding on to this controller to like
precision platform.
Like it was bad. Like I felt like my hands were gonna fall off at the end of Celeste, honestly. But yeah, let's get into the housekeeping into the episode proper. Housekeeping for you, Twitch. We are changing things up a little bit because the Resident Evil 5 stream is cursed. Laura was very confused yesterday when I left and then came back because the stream wouldn't work because we were supposed to do a marathon stream all day on Saturday to play Resident Evil 5. And then I was like, I'm going to go back to Nick's at 6 to play this some tonight, and then we'll do the rest tomorrow. We go over again. Internet's still not working. It's just not going well. So we're pivoting. We are playing Resident Evil 5, Nick and I, remotely on our respective consoles. Both have our cameras on, so if you want to watch that, it's going to be on Wednesdays usually. But if you're listening to this on Monday, there's a chance that we have to flip streams back and forth between Monday and Wednesday. So just stay tuned on that we might end up playing Resident Evil 5 on Monday.
We might play Monday. The plan is Monday and Wednesday if it is.
Yes, yeah. And then if not, if there's no issue, we're doing Until Dawn on Monday.
Yep.
And then Tuesday and Thursday, Nick is playing Mass Effect, potentially beating Mass Effect, going on to Mass Effect 2. Is the plan.
Want to beat this game really badly.
Yeah.
Because this game is all right. Like, I think that Connor and I discussed this about Half-Life 2. There's certain games that you're streaming that people bang the drum for really hard. That they're like, fucking Half-Life 2, fucking Mass Effect. And then it's a lot of nostalgia. It's a lot of those earlier mechanics that like really sunk into the teeth of the players at the time. And now playing it right now, like Mass Effect 1 already, a lot of people are like, you got to get to 2 because 1's a little bit stiff. In the year 2024, it's not great. So I'm really excited to finish it and just get it under my belt and then hop into Mass Effect 2, in which Connor is going to make me play every single side character mission, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, like, it affects the ending drastically on who lives and who dies. And they're also the best missions in the game. They're not even, I wouldn't even call them side missions.
Yeah.
They're just
which
missions.
I'm excited about. Like, the nice part is the way that I've been told this game works and have understood it for a very long time is this is one of the best character-driven stories in all of gaming. And if you ask me what are my favorite type of games, it's character-driven story games. And I'm excited to hop into this one for sure.
The Ohio Retro Gaming Convention coming up November 2nd. We have a panel, me, Nick, and Brady, 11:30. So if you want to come to the event, it's on that weekend, November 2nd in Columbus, Ohio. Tickets are like $20-$30 or something like that.
30 something, I believe. Yeah.
So it's relatively affordable if you want to come to the convention, check out the retro games. They also have like activities and stuff, also our panel. So it's not just to see us for 30 minutes, but also there's a ton of fun, cool stuff. And a lot of our community members are coming. So if you want to come meet up for that, we are doing a meet and greet that night at 16-bit Barcade in Columbus. So if you want to come meet us and hang out, Laura will be there. So if you, that's another reason to come. So there you go.
Our Airbnb is stacked, y'all. Yeah. It's gonna be wild.
If you want to join the community, we have a Discord server that you can find in the link tree in our bio on TikTok, as well as our merch. We have shirts, hoodies, and mugs. If you want to check that out and support the channel that way. Lastly, if you could give us a nice review on Apple Podcasts, it gets more people. The show in front of more people, so we'd really appreciate that.
I want to back this up real quick to Torg. Laura, you have to be in an Airbnb with me, Connor, Brady, and a couple other people for the entire fucking weekend. Are you ready for that?
I've had worse. I've known you guys for a really long time. I'm going to be all right.
I don't know. Last time you and I have been on vacation was like 3 years ago, it feels like at this point.
Yeah, probably.
When we had our small apartment in Massachusetts and we had Bridget, Noah, Jess, and Brady come up, we have like a 1-bedroom basically studio apartment. We had 3 like air mattress bed situations set up in there. It was bad. Like we were on top of each other.
Your old apartment back in Massachusetts. Like when I was there just to hang out and get away from our parents because COVID, I just was like cluttered already because I was allergic to cats, and I could feel that there's not enough air in the room to not feel the sickness and everything. And man, oh man, it definitely hit home all right. But it's gonna be fun. I'm like starting to look forward to that because it's gonna be after we get through 78 reviews this October.
Yeah.
But like I told Connor, and he's like, you cannot do this, and I know I can't do this, but I'm gonna keep saying I can. I'm gonna play Dragon Age during fucking Torque, dude, because we have
He's like,
to.
I'm gonna bring my PS5 up. I'm like, you're not gonna have time. Like, we're gonna be doing the meet and greets. You're gonna have a few bevies, and then you're gonna come home and not hang out with us. You're gonna go.
No, I'm saying Friday night.
Play Dragon Age.
I mean, I'm gonna hang out with Matt for a lot of this,
Yeah.
I assume, and everything. Yeah.
But we got a lot of reviews coming up. We have Silent Hill 2 right now, remake.
Yep.
We're playing it. No impressions this week. A review next week. I really want to talk about this game. I cannot wait to talk about this game. So stay tuned for that. Zelda this week, obviously. Then we have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Then we have Metaphor ReFantasia, which I'm not sure I'm going to finish or not, but I'm going to play it. Then we have Neva. What else?
Mario Party Jamboree, we will probably do a review for. Then BO6, then Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Okay, yeah, that's October. Oh, it's crazy. All right.
It's like 1 or 2.
So stay tuned for that. We are going to get into the hot takes proper here. Nick, you want to kick us off?
Sure. My video game hot take this week is I'm okay if a video game character doesn't have a lot of depth to them, if they're just cool. Some of my favorite video games are just cool. I love Leon Kennedy. I love Snake. I love Sephiroth. Are they all these characters like the most deep people ever? Fuck no. But I want to play the ultimate badass every now and then. It's nice to turn your brain off and just be like, they're just fucking cool. Like, is Riku, Sora, and Mickey like the most interesting protagonists? No, but like Riku and King Mickey are super fucking dope characters. Is Kratos in the early God of War games like a nice guy or really deep? No, but it's fun to swing the blades of chaos. So I'm just throwing out there. I loved well-written characters, well-written story, character-driven games, but I don't like need that all the time. Sometimes I just want my junk food and I want my Leon Kennedy.
Yeah, you don't need it all the time, but like it's one of those situations where like you're not going to get into my upper echelon of characters, of all-time characters, if like your main personality trait and only personality trait is cool. Like I need a little bit more. Like Riku, like has depth. Like Riku has like a ton of situations going on all around him.
But he's also fucking rad, dude. And like,
Don't slander my man Riku.
I'm not slandering Riku. For me, I'm a simple person. I saw Revolver Ocelot and Metal Gear Solid 3 spin revolvers for like 18 minutes straight. And I'm like, that's my favorite character of all time in gaming now. Like, I'm a simple person sometimes, and cool shit can win out over like well-written characters. Like for me, my favorite character, like one of my favorite characters of all time is Ocelot, Snake, Liquid, just like the Metal Gear characters. And some of them aren't super deep. I'm not saying in this scenario Snake, and I understand Ocelot has an immense amount of depth, but one of my favorite parts is they're just fucking cool, and that's an okay thing to enjoy. Okay, I like my cool characters. Like Leon Kennedy I enjoy. He's in my like top 10 characters ever, and he's a moron, but I love him. Like he's just super fucking cool. He does backflips for no reasons.
Okay. I mean, I don't really have like. There's nothing to really say about that. Like, there's no comeback. You can only feel the way that you feel.
I know.
I just don't agree.
It's why it's a hot take, Connor.
Yeah. My gaming hot take for this week is that games should be more punishing. And what I mean by that is that I've been playing Castlevania Symphony of the Night, where when you get a game over, it sends you back to your previous save. And if you haven't saved for a while, that tense feeling just starts to creep in and be like, please don't die. Please don't die. Please don't die. And when you die, it can be really frustrating, but at least it adds that level of tension that many games need. And then I was playing Jak and Daxter. Similar situation. You're like in a area and you're trying to get to the top to get one of those power cells, and you end up dying and you have to completely redo the section that you just did. And it's like it adds that just level of intensity that I really look for in games. Some games need it, some games don't. The prime example for this that somebody might like throw back at me is Astrobot not being very punishing. That game's all about just having fun, having a good time, and I think that like it just really is enjoyable when it comes to the gameplay. That punishing aspect doesn't really move the needle for me. But like for older games and a lot of modern games, I wish they were a little bit more punishing. Silent Hill 2 right now, putting me back to certain save points in certain instances where I'm just like, damn, I just lost a lot of progress. But like I can at least do this again. I can do it better. I can learn from my mistakes and go forward again. And I like that.
If I'm not signing up for a really punishing game, I don't want it to be punishing at all. I want to hold my hand. I want it to give me easy save points and checkpoints. Unless I'm signing up for Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Cuphead, like Super Meat Boy. Celeste. I want there to be ready, easy checkpoints, and then just send me back out. Just keep me in the gameplay loop. Don't slow me down. I fucking hate this take. This is it. I completely disagree. You got anything on this, Laura?
No, nothing strong. Goof Troop did really mess me up about this.
Yeah, that fucking sucked.
Well, it added that intensity. Were we not on the edge of our fucking seats? And when we came out on top,
so
we were like,
long.
yes.
Carter, y'all,
It was
like,
so stressful.
I left to go and like do a bunch of chores on that Saturday morning. I left at like noon, and all of a sudden I go and I see, hey, they're still on at 1 o'clock, and they're on the last level and everything. And then I come back, it's like 3:30. Y'all are still fucking on the last level. I'm like, this can't be
my
fun
God.
anymore.
But that last moment when it finally came up that we cleared the stage, it was euphoric. It was amazing.
What was
Yeah.
better, the joy of that moment or the pain you went through? Like, did that triumph all the pain you went through?
It didn't, but it was also one of those situations where we're streaming, so it's like a different situation. Like you can't walk away. We had
true.
to finish it, so like that's different. Like if we could have walked away, went and got lunch or something, and then came back and beaten the boss, I think it would have been a totally different situation where I would have been happy that it was punishing. So it's kind of not comparable, honestly. All right, Zelda.
Oh man, we also already like started the Zelda aspect of this entire podcast earlier on, and I'm excited for this one because not only is it a 3-person review, and 3-person reviews are way more interesting than 2-person reviews than just getting Connor and I yapping it up, but it's also getting 3 different opinions, and this is the first time we're going to have Laura on the pod. It's just exciting. Today's an exciting day. I'm ready for it. I'm feeling
Alrighty.
good. We're like, the plan too is to have Brady on next week too. It's not going to be you and I for a minute, dude.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 next week, and then maybe some Dragon
DBZ?
Ball. Yeah, Sparking Zero. No Z.
No Z. I was texting Matt about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I typed in DBZ and like a long text message because we're going back about Echoes of Wisdom, Dragon Ball, and Metaphor, just as boys do, I guess. And I kept on having to, when I was doing Dragon Ball, taking DBZ SZ and deleting the middle Z in the middle of a text as I'm like rereading it and everything. And it's going to be difficult during that review to not say Z, but we'll get there. Do we have to reshoot that because we said Z?
Yeah.
Man, the good old days.
All right, let's hop into it. I'm introing it, right?
Yes, you are.
I have beaten The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. Nick has beaten it. Laura has beaten it. Nick, what is your review?
Connor, I really enjoyed Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I'm giving it an 8.5, a great score on our scale. Let's dive into the good. First and foremost, Zelda in this game, I was super excited to play as Zelda, and it delivers the goods. Not only is she just adorable and super fun to play as and has a great companion, as most Zelda games allow you to have, but the mechanics that they give Zelda are top notch. The echoes, every single time you go and send out an echo, you're excited to see what that beast or creature or creation is going to do, and most of the time it doesn't do exactly what you want, but then that gives you the puzzle feeling of like, how do I go and do it differently and do it better? And every single time it's exciting to solve puzzles that way and defeat creatures that way. And then after you defeat that creature, it is super satisfying to be like, I'm going to hold my R2 bumper and now you're mine and I'm going to utilize you against everyone else. And it's really satisfying to then utilize them later, and it gives you a more well-equipped toolkit. It's awesome. Then they also just gave Zelda Master Hand from Tears of the Kingdom, and it's freaking awesome. The way I solved puzzles this game was through a couple of easy, like, go-to ways, and then using that Master Hand bind ability over and over again. And every single time I got to use it, great to solve puzzles with. Also, it really lets the player how you want to play, lets the player play how they want to play. I really enjoyed solving things super simply whenever I could, but it was nice when they were like, all right, this is how you're supposed to solve it. I'm like, no. I'm going to solve it how I want to solve it. And it worked every single time, almost outsmarting the game, giving that scratching the itch of my brain, being like, you freaking nailed this. And then lastly, for the good, the music, the world, it's Zelda. It's awesome. It's so delightful every single time booting up the Switch, hopping on the handheld and being like, oh man, the sand looks great. The biomes look great. The freaking water looks great. This game is really a treat on the eyes and the ears. And then hopping into the bad. Some of the early dungeons in this game were a bit basic, and I only used a couple echoes to get through them. They were extremely cheap, in my opinion, where I'm like, the puzzle mechanics really just are too simple for me, and I'm using beds over and over again. I joked to our Discord that I call this game Bed Dead Redemption, because this is just use a bed to solve every single puzzle. And then lastly, for the bad, the story and the characters just were not great for me. I know that Zelda games, that's normally not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the dungeons. I'm looking for the boss design. I'm looking for some of these fights. And for me, I had some high hopes. Other than one story side character, I really didn't love this one. So yeah, those are my negatives, but the positives well triumph over the negatives. And I had a great time with this one. 8.5 out of 10.
Laura, what are we thinking?
I think I'm going to give this game a 7.5, and here's why. The game radiates charm, from the nostalgic art style to the characters and their cute stories. I had a really good time with all of the side characters and stuff like that. The puzzles were super engaging, and the plethora of echoes made it fun and silly to solve all the puzzles. Like Nick said, like, finding the wrong way to solve the puzzles was a really good time, even if the game didn't want me to. The temples I had a really lovely time with, but if we're going to go into the negatives here, I think that the lead up to the temples often felt long and arduous, where I like could not get to the temple fast enough and didn't enjoy the lead up to them. The combat as well felt really stale for me. I didn't like waiting for my echoes to kill my enemies. I would have rather engaged in it more myself. But yeah, that's how I feel.
Cool. Connor, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I am also going to give this game a 7.5. I think it's a tale of two halves, or really kind of thirds, where the first third of this game is pretty weak in my opinion, but it gets way better as it goes on. But let's get into the nitty gritty here. Let's go positives, negatives. I think for the most part, this game, like Laura and Nick said, super charming, great art style, excellent world design, really kind of invites you to want to explore it, kind of dig into every aspect of it if that's something you're really interested in doing. But when it comes to actually interacting with the world, like Laura said, I felt like sending out an echo oftentimes left me really bored, just kind of watching it fight for me. And then oftentimes it wouldn't do exactly what I wanted to do. And then eventually I would be like, okay, like, let me just send out another one. And eventually I would get the result that I was looking for. But I want that more instant tactical gratification. I do think this gets better later on as I found new and creative ways to fight and handle certain things. I was dropping sea urchins on enemies left and right like it was my freaking job. And that felt like I was like hitting something because I was just dropping stuff on them. But in the second half of the game, I think that it's super charming when it comes to the characters, like Laura said, and comes to the dungeons, I think get a lot more interesting, and the bosses are really cool. But that aspect of really not feeling super engaged with the combat and some of the puzzles being like way too easy just kind of kept the experience from really hitting that high. And I just really can't ignore that first third of the game where I just was not having fun. It's so comfy and so charming that if you're not engaged with the combat, it often made me feel sleepy. This game was putting me to sleep in the first third, where it's like, if I was playing it after 9 p.m., I was like, okay, I can play this for like 30 minutes because my eyes are shutting. And then as it went on and on, I got way more engrossed and enjoyed it way more. So yeah, 7.5 out of 10. I think the ending of the game is like, gets up to an 8.5, a 9 maybe at certain moments. But early on, you can't erase these like 6 out of 10 first few hours of the game that I really was not having fun. So
nice. I just want to hop in and like, piggyback off that. I was at an 8 out of 10 for the first half of this game.
I just don't understand how. Like, I was so bored.
For me, the master hand, like, for me, it's called bind. I had to look it up because I just called it master hand the entire time. I was using the master hand ability and I was using beds just the entire time, but I was having fun with it. I was having a blast with it. Solving these puzzles for me, like, Zelda Dungeons and Twilight Princess for a lot of people is like one of the best games ever. I didn't love Twilight Princess. I think it's a great game. I give it the same score as this, but I'm not like that. This is like a 9.5, 10 out of 10. Solving dungeons and puzzles in this felt almost better than Twilight Princess for me. Like, it worked. It hit that point in my brain where I'm like, hell yeah, I'm doing the thing. It works.
Did you feel satisfied, generally speaking?
For the most part, a lot of them were really enjoyable for me. But
yeah, I didn't get those like spark moments of like the aha, because oftentimes early on, at the very least, I was using just bed to like get up to a ledge, and then like you're in a room where you got to get up to another ledge, and you're using beds, and it's like like you said, Bed Dead Redemption. It's so just kind of arduous and boring for the most part that I just was not having fun.
It did feel like it was easy to cheat the game.
Yeah.
Like once you got certain things, you could just solve everything with it. Moving tile Water block, moving tile was crazy. Water block was crazy.
Wild. Moving tile is crazy.
I didn't get it.
Cloud was wild.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Wait,
he finished
how did you fall? I couldn't finish. There's certain sections where
Exactly.
there's you aren't able to go if you fall into certain areas. Like there's too many gaps, basically. If you fall, you're gonna die. And I was just using the moving tile to get me from point A to point B, and I was doing some crazy platforming later in this game.
You can use clouds pretty effectively.
But you don't
also-
get clouds until later either.
Yeah, it's
But I
also
did it-
the order
yes.
that you do it in.
So I did. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything. We're not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But like
generally
moving
speaking.
tile is one of like the earlier parts of the game.
I
where
got
you
moving
get
tile
Yeah,
in
I
the
know.
first third, and
Yeah.
it was super bad.
Connor
for me.
just completely
But-
missed it. I don't know
Yeah.
how.
This-
It
Well,
was
I
so
walked
easy.
into that room with the moving tiles where they're all throwing themselves at you, and
You're
I
supposed to
never.
copy
I just
them.
ate them in the face, and then I walked out of the room.
Real quick, I want to shout out Matt. I brought it up earlier that I was having conversations with him about this game, and part of the enjoyment of Tears of the Kingdom when that game came out was everybody being like, how did you solve this? How did you do this? And having the conversation with Matt about that brought me so much joy that it solidified my 8.5 from going up from the 8, where I'm like, oh, this motherfucker, Matt Lucid, is out here just dropping armadillo after armadillo. That's how he's solving
Never
everything. He said, if you want to get things done real fast, just use this. And I was like, I
said
never
the same
used
thing,
it.
Said the same thing to Laura last night about me with ravens. I use
Never used-
ravens constantly. Birds.
Bats.
I
I thought they were bats.
Well, there are bats. There's also ravens. I was straight up Edgar Allan Poe in this.
Devontae Adams. Have you seen that?
No.
Hey, Devontae Adams has posted a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe shit. Don't worry about it.
It was crows, and Connor said he used 6 crows to help him beat the final boss. And I
Yeah.
was like, "What do you mean you used 6 crows?"
I would let them go do all the work, and I would just kind of dodge around the room, and that's how I beat like a lot of
But
bosses.
That's
I-
insane behavior.
I also want to throw out there, we're not going to spoil this mechanic, but there is another mechanic of depth that is added in this game that, for me, sped up the combat, made it a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging. I don't want to like bring it,
was.
up.
I will say that it was on a cooldown like type bar where you have to get items to kind of charge it up, and I felt like because of that, I never wanted to
But
use it.
you
I was
can
always
also,
saving it.
Here's the thing, though. For me, the way that you gain health in this game is super, like, you can gain health or you can gain that bar with these mechanics. And for me, half of my health things were also bar things.
Were you healing with bed?
No, almost never.
Did you know you could do that?
I did it quite often.
There's
But,
certain beds you can get Zelda's bed later on, and it heals 2 at a time.
oh, what?
And
It's so fast.
I'm literally.
I have Zelda's bed, but I never used it.
And this is no spoilers here, but I'm in the final boss, and I've run out of healing material.
embedded?
I am getting in the bed mid-boss
Mid-boss
fight
fight?
and charging
And
it
the
up.
final boss is fucking awesome in this game.
really
It is
hard.
For me, I did it first try, thankfully, but you were texting me being like, where are you at? And I'm in this final boss, and I'm like, Connor, do not fucking text me right now. This is awesome.
Did you do it first try?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it first try, but I had no healing items, and it took me forever. And I was like, please don't die. Please
Were you
don't die.
leaving dungeons often to get more healing items?
No.
For me,
never did.
a large part of this game was slowing down to be able to do that, being like, just in case, reload on your heals, reload on your stamina bars. Because for me, there was it was not even part of the dungeon. It was a lead up to a dungeon, and it was super annoying for me because, like you said, it can be tedious at times. This was the only like real roadblock I had where I could not get past an enemy because my echoes just weren't working the way I wanted them to, and I was so frustrated. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna have and I kept dying, and my hearts kept going down. So I was like, okay, let's just reload, let's patient beat this one and get through it. And that for me was fun. I enjoyed that. I was okay with, and it's funny, you're like, I want games to be more punishing. It gave me the player the choice, though, in this moment, instead of just banging my head against the wall, to almost like Elden Ring upgrade and be like, all right, get your heals aligned, get what you need together, maybe go do a side mission to upgrade something else. Like, and it worked. It was
Were you
fun.
making smoothies all the
I was
time?
making smoothies all the time,
Smoothies
bro.
are so good.
I
That
did not
salted milk smoothie, the salted milk smoothie is crazy.
The rock climbing smoothie, I forget what it's called, but it's rock something. I was
Yeah.
like, Brady's gonna drink a lot of these. This motherfucker's gonna be rock climbing left to right.
I did not like the smoothie mechanic just just because you can't make multiple of them at once. That was so annoying. So you're making 3 of them and you're having to wait through like the cutscene or whatever. You can skip the cutscene, but even then it's doing like a loading screen. It's like, okay, I'm making 3 and I'm like, I don't want to keep doing this. So I'm leaving.
That was a little bit annoying for me. I was more annoyed that to make a smoothie, you mix 2 ingredients. I wish it was 3. And I wish, especially later in the game where like my smoothie's only giving me 5 hearts, 6 hearts. I'm like, let me add a third ingredient and get to that 10 hearts because I'm maxing out the amount of smoothies I have.
Were you not using nectar and milk to?
I was getting up there with some of these smoothies, but I would say
golden
like,
eggs.
I never used a golden egg. I always just use that to heal me real quick for 2 hearts, which is not probably the best idea.
For the final boss, I just went and bought potions because it was faster.
I also went and bought because you can buy multiple at once. No, you can't. You can't. You're right.
It was still faster.
I also did go and buy potions for the final boss.
Yeah,
but no, just to like get a little bit more on rails. We're now obviously into long form and everything. This game was my favorite Switch game I've ever played because I never played the handheld version of the Switch, and playing in this handheld, I'm like, this is what the Switch is made for. Like, this is what it's all about, baby. And I know that's insane for both of you.
But you played Tears of the Kingdom. You think this is better than Tears?
I think Tears is a better video game by a mile, but I played Tears on the big screen the entire time.
So you're just saying it feels like a Switch game because
this is for the Switch. Like, for me, Zelda, for Tears, I'm like, this game's so fucking good. It feels like I'm playing PlayStation first party or a major AAA banger. Like this is a game that is meant to be played mobile, on the go. Like Matt was telling me when we first picked it up, he was like, yeah, I'm playing this on the train to work. I'm like, that would be fucking awesome to not have to grind this and just get to play 45 minutes at a time at work. Fuck yeah.
I was playing it during my 15-minute work breaks or whatever because I was worried that we weren't going to be able to finish it in time for the review because we had the 14-hour Resident Evil 5 stream that we ended up not being able to do. So I was just like 15 minutes, just like kind of like chipping away at it, and you can get through a lot in 15 minutes, shockingly.
Real quick, I don't know if Connor fully mentioned this. If you're nervous about the Resident Evil 5 stream and why we're not doing it on the weekend, we are officially, with the amount of reviews that we have to do, like taking a full weekend day away from Connor and I it fucks viable. Us. It just can't work. Sorry, I just want to throw that out there because I know that somebody's got to be like, this was supposed to be a long, fun stream, and it's like, we just can't fucking get it in there, but we're doing it. I'm really excited about it.
We tried to get it done.
And honestly, I think the setup is going to look even better. Yeah. Anyways, Laura, what was... You brought up characters. I want to throw out that there's the one side character, and I'm just going to say the biome because obviously this biome's in the game. The snowy ice biome.
Conde.
Elite.
Yeah, he was awesome.
By far the best character.
Very cute story.
So fucking cute. It's like, no joke. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. But because it was one of the ones that I did first and I had more to do after the fact and everything, I was like, it's not better than this. And so it just fell flat. Like all the side characters other than that one character in particular was just like, this is all right. It was all right to I don't give a fuck. Like there was one that I swear I was like, the cotton candy one.
Yeah, the cotton candy one.
I don't fucking care.
That was the last one I did, and I was racing through.
Oh, dude, for me, I wish that it was the second to last one I did. For me, I wish it was the last one I did because I would have rushed even more. Like I would have been like, fuck this, and I just pushed forward because I just didn't care. The other two, like the snow one and then the other one, I was like some level of interest, but the characters themselves and the issues that they were having that Zelda was helping with, I was like, I don't really care for it. And then all the earlier stuff I didn't really care about. So like for me, the characters in the story, this felt so simple. Like all of it felt very there weren't a lot of surprises and my heartstrings weren't being pulled on. Like where this game is overly cute from a visual sense and the music, and it's like almost trying to tell my brain like, you should be smiling right now, and with like the story and what's happening on screen, and I'm like, just give me more puzzles, give me more dungeons, give me the next mechanic. I didn't care about the story, and that's for me. There's like a lot of people even higher than I on this game. That's what brought me down. But if that hit for you, honestly, like there's a 9 out of 10 review between the three of us. If you enjoy the story and the characters along with my review, I'm like, I understand why a lot of people are fucking super high on this. So hearing that you guys are both super low on it.
Super low. We're both at a 7.5.
7.5.
It's a very good video game.
Yeah. I just want to go
has
back
problems.
to...
It feels like a first draft in a lot of ways of some ideas that I think could be improved on greatly.
But my question is, it's something I heard Ben Hansen from MinMax say. He's like, when they were talking about Tears of the Kingdom, you don't like puzzles? Like this is just like puzzles.
But the puzzles weren't satisfying.
Oh, I think that they're so fucking
especially
satisfying.
Early on. And then even later they get better, but like they're not like, oh, these are just so addictive or whatever. Like none of them gave me the same feeling I got from a shrine in Tears of the Kingdom.
What if you were to score this the first third? Because you're also think that the game gets better as it goes on, right, Laura? If you were to give the first third a score, where were you guys at?
Like a 6.
6.
Yeah, I was close to a 7.5 through the first third, where I'm like, this game, it definitely takes some time to rev up. But once you get into the second, third, and then really like push for the finale, I think the finale of this game, from all the Zeldas I've played, and I haven't done the Tears of the Kingdom finale, but like this is as good as Wind Waker's finale in my mind, or like the lead up to the finale. The very final fight in Wind Waker is fucking awesome, and this is as good as the Twilight Princess
really
finale.
solid
Like
finale, yeah.
I think the finale in this game, especially for, I'm so nervous when it comes to a boss fight, especially in a top-down boss fight, to deliver the goods. In the later boss fights in this game, fucking deliver the goods. They're awesome.
Yeah. They're really cool design and look really cool, but like I didn't really feel
Really?
strongly.
I liked all of the like big bosses during the game. I disagree about the final boss.
Yeah?
I thought it was really easy and kind of boring.
Oh, I thought it was hard.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was necessarily
all
hard.
you had to do was dodge.
Yeah, you just have to
mostly,
dodge.
And
Yeah. I mean, there was
again, you're kind of just waiting.
Yeah.
Which is a similar problem to the rest of the game.
What was for basic echoes? Obviously, we brought up for traversal the
bed, the water block.
the bed, water block, and the cloud. Was there for your fighting? I'm talking really early echoes. Was there any early echo that you stuck with? Because I brought up when we were talking about it to our chat and everything, snakes. I use snakes all the time, but as I progressed, I was using spears quite often, like people with spears for everything, because there's so many enemies that are high up and everything that
So,
those are my go-tos.
when things became cheaper, I would use like my axe guy who could swing his axe
Yep.
around, and then I was using two boomerang people.
Oh, nice.
Just have five guys
For,
on
for
the
me, the
battlefield.
boomerangs wouldn't go high enough for certain
Right.
pillars and such.
Well, if it's on the ground, that's who I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early game, I used boomerang people, and then later game, I used big axe guy.
the big axe.
The big knight, I
Yeah.
used him for the final battle, like almost
Yeah,
exclusively.
I walked into the other room and Laura was doing that, and I was like,
And then he's like, "You 6 crows instead." I was like, okay. And then I tried it, and it didn't go well. So I was like, not doing that anymore. Going back to big axe guy.
it worked fine for me.
There was one fight that really, it's this is about to sound wild, talking about Echoes of Wisdom. The thing that I love about Elden Ring, and one of my favorite fights, if not my favorite fight in base Elden Ring, is the Godskin duo. It's because I had that moment that I bring up all the time of it just, my brain like flicked on. It was like, this is now a time fight. If you do this with enough speed and take one of them out fast enough, it's going to be a one-on-one game the entire time. And I was able to cheese it, but like it was almost a puzzle that I cheesed. Like it wasn't putting an enemy in a corner and like beating them up. When I was doing a certain fight, the fire, like little fire guys that you pick up, and I utilize them a lot for puzzles
Yeah, I
throughout
use
this
them
game
all
the
the
time. But there is a boss fight where you utilize them and put them on the floor often to go and not get stuck. I beat that boss so fast after I realized what to do with those, and that moment alone for me was like, this is what it's all about. It's the puzzle solving that's hitting my brain in the right way, and like sometimes it doesn't hit. I'm really excited to go back and play Link's Awakening after this, just to be like, I like this top down, like a little bit more straightforward type of game compared to with Twilight Princess. Like the amount of dungeons and the same. It's really funny. These both I was really low on, and then it got better. The score went along for Twilight Princess and Echoes of Wisdom. But for me, like this top down feel, this coziness to it, I really fucking love, and I want more of that. I want more of those like brain tickling moments from this top down view that I got in that boss fight in this game, and that's why I was legitimately like, all right, I'm at 8.5 now. Like this is a great game. This is one of the best of this year. I could easily see it on my top 10. It's in that same area that I have Stellar Blade and a lot of other titles around that. The Lost Crown, like I'm very high on those titles, and I really maybe want to shout them out over a Zelda title, but like this game's fucking great. And so it's really weird for you guys to come in and be like, yeah, I'm a little bit lower.
Very good.
We both really liked it.
Why do you guys hate this fucking game?
Real quick,
Why is a 7.5 a bad score? Guys, stop.
circling back to characters, do you have any other favorite characters other than Conde that to like point out?
No, I think Conde was my favorite.
Okay,
Yeah.
so like I want to talk about the Goron character, the chief.
Yeah.
He was cute,
He
yeah.
was awesome.
Very charming.
He had like a great arc, and then I really thought that the moment between the two Zora characters. Really excellent. I thought that was super cute.
I thought
super
it was
charming.
cute. For me, it was a charming moment between characters I didn't really care about.
Oh, I don't know. I felt like you were in that area for so long, like Laura said about like just kind of having to go back and forth. That was like the biggest offender of kind of like the lead up to the actual dungeon of just like it being annoying to do this thing. But getting that final payoff or getting those character moments throughout that and then getting that final payoff like was really satisfying to me. Is it reinventing the wheel of storytelling? Absolutely not. Are these messages super basic and very like on the nose and overdone? Absolutely. They were just cute and I liked them. Like that's really it. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not judging that by any means. I'm waiting for a Zelda story to really hit home because I know people that are like, Twilight Princess's story fucking hit me hard. Wind Waker hit me hard. And I'm like, I understand the themes that you're trying to like speak about, but they're not hitting me. And this is another example where I'm like, this isn't hitting me in a way other than this is just really cute and enjoyable for certain moments. But even the characters, like for me, the best relationship in this game is I want to make sure I get the character right. Impa? Yeah, that's by far my favorite dynamic in this game is because it's established early on and you can tell what the care is and like the importance of that character, and establishing that so early compared to giving me like vignette moments actually gave me a character dynamic I cared about compared to everyone else. I'm just like, I know I'm going to be here for an hour and a half and I know that this is going to be very basic. There was like in Conde's story, I was like, there's a little bit of like some twists and turns, like some things that like actually happened that I didn't expect fully. And I was like, that works for me. This is cool. Other than that, it was so basic.
I was going to say Tree or Try.
Yeah.
Try.
Oh.
Try is arguably the best character.
I literally was writing notes about my review and everything, and I thought of it, and then I went and I switched my song that I was listening to as I was making notes, and then I forgot to write it down. Try's fucking dope.
Love that character.
It's weird because like at first like they this individual entity is just kind of like a means to do things or whatever, to do combat, to do echoes, and then like they become like, I didn't think of them as like, oh, this is gonna be like my buddy, my pal, and then eventually like their dynamic, Zelda and Try's dynamic, becomes like really kind of special and cute, all the way through to the end. Like it's like, oh damn, like it's very Legend of Zelda to have like that side character like that, and I didn't look at them like that early on, and then I was like, oh, it has a nice build to get into that moment.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Like once again, Midna, freaking awesome from Twilight Princess. Really enjoyed that character. One of the best parts of this game and of that game. That's why I'm around that 8.5 score. There's those little things that I think puts it in the upper echelon of the idea of what a great game is. Same exact boat here where I'm like, Try's and Zelda's relationship is freaking awesome, and it's exactly what he said. You're just with them so long that it develops. I think a lot of people's issue with more quiet characters is how do you go and feel connected? And a large part of the way you can sort of do it is just put them on the screen all the time, and they're just with you during this entire journey. So when there are different game mechanics they're utilizing, you just feel connected because you're connected to the game mechanic that they're providing for you. I absolutely love this relationship. Once again, another reason why I'm like, this is a great video game. Like I don't know what it does after the first third that is not great to excellent, and that's why I'm just so convinced. And it's okay to knock a score, and I don't want to get too hopped up on the score, but it's okay to bring a game down in opinion because you're like, it started out as a slog, and it doesn't just finish very well. I think that like the build-up is maybe the mechanics are supposed to be a little bit easy. Like I sort of settled in the fact that I'm like, okay, maybe it is supposed to be, hey, you get a bed right away, fucking utilize it, and like you can cheese for the first bit. Some of the dungeons and puzzles and layouts like later along, I was like, this is not super easy. Like I wasn't getting through everything super fast. There was a couple stumbling blocks for me that I was like, do I look this up? And I was like, no. And then I went and literally every single time I was like, okay, water, a hovering block, like tile, like there. I went to the go-tos to try to figure it out, and then sometimes it was like, no, this isn't working. I need to go and get deeper in my Echo's bag of tricks and pull out something new. And that for me was like, fuck yeah, let me, like, you're giving me all these tools. I'm utilizing more than 3 of them. I was so nervous that for traversal, I was going to use bed the entire time. For air attacks, I was going to use spear or something that could fly. For like fire, I was always going to use water or vice versa. Like all the elemental abilities and the way that they have the rock paper scissors relationship throughout this game, freaking rule, dude. I really enjoyed going through that entire process. That's why I'm really high on this game, like, or higher than y'all on this game, I would say, because those moments and the puzzle solving for me was extremely satisfying. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, and that's pretty great in my opinion. After the first, you said third, I would say 15% of the game for me.
There's a moment half.
I know there's a
a
definitive moment in the game.
Yeah.
For me, before I got to that moment, the start, I think this game starts very strong. Like getting sent off on the adventure, I'm like, fuck yeah, and then it dips down a little bit, and then it gets back up for me around that moment. So that it's like 15 to 20% for me. I really settled into this game, and when I was doing all of the later dungeons and echoes and boss battles, I was like, oh fuck yeah, like I'm about this, which I didn't expect. Like this game for me is a contender now for this year, and if you ask me 3 hours in, I would be like, nah, it's a solid title. Like I'm enjoying this 7.5-ish area, but like as I progressed, especially like that final boss fight for me, I was like 8.5 guaranteed, like mark it, like no joke. I went and threw the score next to the game on my beat it list because I was like, it's fucking awesome. I really enjoy this title.
How do you feel about the ramp up of difficulty and puzzles? Like how did the puzzles, did they tickle you? Did they scratch that itch for you, or did they just kind of always stay lackluster like they were for me?
They scratched the itch on occasion. Like I think that there was like certain rooms and puzzles where I was like, oh, this is fun and like enjoyable, and I'm like having like a little bit of trouble trying to figure out how to get over this freezing wall or whatever it might have been.
Yeah, I think that for the most part, like the ramp up was there, but like there was still stuff in later dungeons where I was like, this is really easy and really kind of, I feel like I've done this like 15 times already in this game and it's not very fun.
So you're just trying to get through it at a certain point? Or were you smelling the roses? Because for me,
well,
I lost that idea of smelling the roses.
Well, when you have,
getting through it
when you
pretty
have
fast.
Hundreds and hundreds of echoes and you're using like 4 of them throughout the entire game, it's like, what's even the point of having all of these is kind of how I ended up feeling
I will say, I wish there was a way, some sort of mechanic to give me almost like a Minecraft chest and like put 30 of these bad boys in there and be like, I'm just not going to use this anymore. I'm just going to go from there. A point that I wanted to bring up, are we good on the puzzle aspect of this?
Yeah.
A point I want to bring up is this is sort of an open world. Like you are able to just go where you sort of want, and it does a great job of pinging where you need to go next. And as somebody that likes to go from one thing to the next, it was nice to do a couple side missions and be like, oh, like whatever. I did a couple. I didn't do a lot.
I did a few of them and I stopped because I was like, the rewards sucked.
They were not worth it.
Did you do any of them?
I did quite a few. I think I did nearly all the rifts that were available,
the optional
ones, because I ended up being able to get try to level 10, and I think that's the highest it goes.
Yeah, I wasn't.
I was level 9 at the end.
Yeah,
me too.
So I think that's as high as maybe there's a level 11. I don't know, but I got up to there.
I'm just like, you can get to level 40. like it's almost like there is 97 rifts left in this game.
Yeah,
go find them.
So I did those because they were like at least a little interesting. The rifts were kind of fun. And then I like filled out the map, so I went everywhere. And there's a lot of side stuff. I know that a lot of people didn't find the horse. You can get a horse. It doesn't really seem helpful for traversal, but you can.
I was spinning all over the place to go fast.
Game. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I was like fine with. If I needed to go faster, like and I felt the need for the horse, I would have went and gotten them, but I didn't feel the need.
I don't think it was like fast enough that it was worth.
Yeah.
Because you can at a certain point you can also fast travel, so it's like
right. I was fast traveling left and right.
Like why? I'm gonna use a horse to get like 5 inches. It feels really silly.
Getting from like corner to corner of the map felt like you could just fucking book anyway.
But I really enjoyed that aspect of it, where I'm like, this open world felt large but not too cumbersome, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I did think it lends itself well to just like kind of exploring and digging into it if that's what you want to do. I just wasn't really feeling the game generally speaking. So I was just going from point A to point B.
For me, the nice part of this game was it didn't like set you off Breath of the Wild style where it's like, go fucking anywhere, but you're going to end up just by the game doing its job well, clearing out the entire map and feeling like it is very big. And it also is like still exciting to see what's around the next corner of this entire map. And I like think that this is freaking awesome map in a world, and like it feels very settled of Hyrule. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Did you guys get stamps? How many stamps did you guys get?
Oh, I filled out 2 of the.
I'm on the 4th stamp card.
Oh,
I almost
goodness.
finished.
Yeah, because you like we said with the Korok seeds, like that's like your bag.
Yeah,
like,
but
you
I
like
didn't really
collectibles.
enjoy those parts.
Are you
going
gonna
to
go back in for more?
Maybe someday.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely I'm putting this game on the shelf and I'm done
For
with
me,
it.
I literally just hand it to Brady. Like I'm not getting this. I'm not going to touch it after rolling credits. But that also, before I got to the final boss, I had a part of the map that like, as you fill in the map it starts out basically like a yellow paper pamphlet style, like, well, parchment style paper. And then where you discover it, it fills in. I had 1 piece of yellow left, and I was like, I need to fucking get the yellow out of the way. I want this whole map filled out. And surely enough, super satisfying to just real quick run over, see it. Nothing exciting, but I just had to clear it out and like once again scratch that itch and like really get satisfied with what I wanted from this game, and it left me very satisfied.
All right. Any final thoughts?
This game is a great Switch game. I think that if you are somebody that has the excuse to play the handheld, and I know that there's a lot of people that are like, I keep my Switch stocked 24/7. I'm one of those people. If you are a handheld gamer, I think that this is a great one to pick up, and it's super easy to go, turn on, do a couple dungeons, get out of the way. It's not super long in length. It's 15 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it took me around that time. And I enjoyed 13 hours, like a whole bunch. And I would say also, though, if you're playing this game and you picked it up, go and push for it. Like, if you're feeling like it's a little bit of a slog, it does get better. And also, like, be okay with breaking the game in the way that you want to break it. Like, there's not a right answer to a lot of this stuff. This conversation hyped me the fuck up by all of us being like, you did that differently. This is what you used. I did differently. This is what I use. You did it differently. This is what you like. Fuck yeah. Like, that's what it's all about. And the creativity that Nintendo has and like that magic that it has, I think this game has that. And I think that's freaking cool. So yeah, that's my final thought.
Anything else, Laura?
You can beat the final boss with 6 crows, apparently. So you should play this game because that's stupid and also really fun.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's so dumb. But
That's a good
awesome.
explanation of the whole game.
I mean,
is
the
that
fact
you can
that
beat
you-
the final boss with 6 crows.
The fact that you can do that is cool, and the fact that you can handle most things the way that you want to handle them is cool, but I often felt like, sure, you're breaking the game the way that you want to, and that can be satisfying, but I never felt like moment to moment I was having fun doing those things, especially early on. I was satisfied enough to like keep going and see how I was going to handle something, but I was never like, this feels so good to do. Like, it was like, oh yeah, this is cool.
It's the thing that I said earlier. It's like, do you not like puzzles? And you're like, no, I like puzzles when they're great. Like, I like really good puzzles, and they just weren't hitting for you in the way that they hit for me.
There was moments where I was like, this is good shit. Like, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is cool. I did have to look up a few things where like, what was the deal with the switches where like you had to slide something on top of it and you had to wait for it to hit it and then you had to stand on top of the other one at the same time.
That's incorrect. So you know those moving little
Statues.
statues,
Yeah.
the little horn guys. You got an echo of those.
Yeah.
So you had to start them from like the same spot, and they had to land on
but
the
what
switches
if
at the same
there
time.
was? But for me, I knew I had to do that. That's how the game wanted me to solve it. This is a prime example of the game wants me to solve it this way. I'm not going to do that. Every single time I would stack up, and this isn't a spoiler. This is just how I solved a puzzle that comes up a couple times. Stack up tables. So I would have like 3 tables stacked up, but I only have, and then I would like put a couple tables by me. So all my echoes are used. And then I would retract and jump at the same time. So I'd take the last one out, the bottom table, and the table would drop and I would jump on it, and it worked every time.
That's awesome.
And no joke. I'm like, they want me to use that. fuck it.
That's psychotic.
But like it worked. It worked every fucking time. Because I just knew you
know.
needed to drop at the same time, so I was like doing for some reason I thought of the tablecloth like magic trick where you pull it away and then it just drops perfectly with like because inertia works that way. I don't know. Like you said, that is psychotic to do in this game. That is not the way you're supposed to do it. That's how I did it.
So I would just,
and it worked.
if you had like these were a lot at the time in the snowy, icy temple. Like if you had like an ice block, you could slide it and then go run at the same time. Yeah,
but
so that's how I was doing it.
I knew that I could also do it that way. This game gave you the obvious answer, and I was like, I can do it that way, but sometimes I mess up the timing or whatever. I got so good with the way I was doing it that I was like, I'm going to use this every single time, and every single time I knew I was outsmarting the game. And like the game was like, you can do it this way. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. And that felt great.
No, your way makes actually way more sense because I spent like 5 minutes on each of those.
His way doesn't make more sense. It just like does work.
It takes less time.
The first time I did it took so fucking long to do. So when it came back up, no joke, was like, I am not doing that shit. And then I was like, okay, what would a really smart person do? And then I didn't call Matt. I wanted to call Matt and be like, oh, you solve this. But I was just like, you're going to figure this out yourself. And I was like, all right. I used tables. I used the boulder every now and then, whichever one was like close enough in my abilities list. And I just went and was like, okay, how can I initially tried to go in, but they were so far away. I tried to ultra hand something and then like walk with it onto it. And it too often was too far away. So I was like, how can I go and drop something on it? And I was like, the only way I can drop it is if I can pull something out. And then I had that fucking moment that this game gives you. And I was like, yes.
That's goofy as hell.
Fuck yeah,
I
dude.
respect it, honestly.
It took me too long to solve that puzzle, so I'm like jealous that you did a stupid way.
The way you're doing it is the right way.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
Like the first time it did present
I would have to bind them, and then like they take a while to start back up, so it would be a huge pain in the ass.
But you didn't have to have them both going at the same time. You could just have one going, and then you be the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I didn't think about that.
Okay,
I just had two going at the same time, and then that took for fucking ever.
The first time I solved it, I also had two going at the same time, and I was like, why am I so dumb? No joke. I was like, there's no way this is the fastest way to solve it. And when it came up again, and I was like, it's probably gonna come up again after this. I was like, I took the moment. I took like 7 or 8 minutes being like, all right, ultra hand, trying to figure this out. And then once I figured it out, I'm like, I'm doing this every fucking time because it works. I knew that I could replicate it too. I was like, as long as I can get to both buttons, and most of the time they're just in a room or there's some like a barrier in between them. It's like, as long as I can sort of get to both buttons and put something on there, I can solve this. And it was fucking awesome.
The ice block version of it is way easier.
Yeah.
But
right on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the Pokemon games draft. Who's going first?
Laura? I'm going last.
Okay.
Laura can go first. You got second.
Yeah. So you say with my first pick, and then you say the thing, and then second, third. So for all of them. Okay. Ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Today, we are drafting Pokemon video games. Laura is joining us, so this is a 3-person draft. Laura, what is your first pick?
With my first pick, I'm going to go with Heart Gold / Soul Silver.
Right on.
Yeah.
Why Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
Because they're the best. you get Johto and Kanto, and it's just an updated version of Gold, Silver, and Crystal, which are great games.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I'm going next.
You're next.
With my first pick, I'm going to go with my favorite generation, the definitive version of this, Pokemon Emerald. I love 3rd gen. I love this region. I love the starters. Starters are Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic, right? In Gen 3. So I'm right on on loving this game. This was like when I really got addicted to Pokemon, generally speaking. Like I played Yellow as a kid, like as a young kid, and then I just like remember playing this on my Game Boy SP with the backlight. Dad's coming in late at night, throw the Game Boy under the pillow, pretend go to sleep, and then get back up, and you're going to catch a Rayquaza, dude. It was awesome. It was like legendary. So yeah, that's my first pick. Nick, what are we taking?
The reason I wanted the third pick is I'm going to choose a couple fun ones. My first pick is Pokemon Go, the best Pokemon game of all time. I firmly believe that this is the best game of all time because it has now been like a lot of years and I'm still playing this thing. I was trying to think. It's
Joker
8
out of
years.
here, dude.
Like,
yeah.
oh my God. And then the second game I'm choosing is Pokemon Snap. Extremely unique experience. Super fun on rails. Taking photos of cute mons. Are you kidding me? Pokemon Snap with my second pick.
With my second pick, I'm going to go with Pokemon Yellow. This is the first Pokemon game I played. Just kicked off the series for me, and I adored it. This was maybe the first game I ever played that I didn't own. I went to a family friend's house. They had a Game Boy, and I could not put it down. They called me down for lunch, and I said, no. I'm playing Pokemon Yellow, and you cannot remove me from this situation. So that's my second pick.
Real quick, what was your first pick?
It was Emerald.
Emerald and
Sapphire.
and
Ruby,
and then you picked Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yep.
Cool, thank you.
I was gonna pick Yellow. You bully. I'm gonna go with a deep cut, and I'm gonna pick a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness.
Oh! Any reason?
Just it's a deep cut, and if you know, you know.
Well, it goes back to you.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's snakes. So
Oh, snakes!
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. And then after that, I'm gonna go with Pokemon Black and White. The music in that game is better than any Pokemon music. Fight me.
With my third pick, Nick stole Snap from me, which sucks. With my third pick, I'm going to go with Pokemon Platinum. This is where I kind of fell off the series for a very long time because I was told that it was uncool to be older and be playing Pokemon. You have to grow out of it. And I was like, fine, I guess I'll do that for a while. And I stopped playing Pokemon. But Pokemon Platinum, that's the definitive version of Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, right? Yep. So, yeah, so good. Great region. One of the best. Pokemon Pearl. Third pick.
I'm going to choose my... Wait, Pearl?
Or sorry, Platinum.
Yeah, because I'm going to choose...
You can't.
What?
Diamond and Pearl?
Diamond and Pearl. Platinum is the definitive edition.
God.
You can't choose it.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Good catch.
Thank you for catching that, because I was able to pick Diamond. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to double up.
Who's picking Hey You Pikachu?
With my next pick, I'm going to choose another unique one. I'm going to go with Pokemon's Legends Arceus with my next choice.
Damn it.
This game is super unique. It's different than basically every other title. And starting this up, I started on a stream with my buddy Chase, and I was like, this is fucking awesome. Extremely different, extremely unique Pokemon Arceus. And then I'm going to follow it up with a game that cannot run, basically. I'm choosing Violet and Scarlet. I know this game is a mess when it comes to performance, but other than that, it's fucking awesome. So Pokemon Scarlet and Violet is my fourth pick in the draft.
This is my 4, so I have one more.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. With my fourth pick, I'm going to go with Pokemon Stadium 2. And let's be real. You can battle in this game. That's all cool and fun. But it's all about the mini games at the end of the day. It's Pokemon Mario Party, all right? So the mini games are the key to Pokemon Stadium. We're picking it at number 4.
If Arceus was off the board, I would have gone Stadium 2 solely because of minigames.
Yeah.
The minigames, we need to find a way to stream some Pokemon Stadium 2 and just play minigames.
I don't have Stadium 2. I only have Stadium 1. I will get Stadium 2 eventually.
It's, I believe, on
Yeah,
Nintendo Switch Online.
It
Yep.
is. What do we got, Laura?
All right, so I get my last two right now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So for pick number 4, I'm going to go with Pokemon XY.
Okay.
It's first open-ish world Pokemon. Pretty cool for that. I do just like a lot of the Pokemon that were introduced in this game. Fairy type was introduced. That's pretty cool. Can't go wrong with that. And then for my final pick, I'm going to go with Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Because just pure nostalgia. That's it. And I'm also out of options almost. So
With my final pick, I'm going to go with another. This is a extreme deep cut, and I don't even know if this like exists in any major capacity, like to be able to be played nowadays. But the trading card game PC version, I had this on disc as a kid. The Pokemon trading card game. I think there's also a Game Boy version of it, but like it's the card version, digital or whatever. They're about to make a phone game of this, and it was legit. It was so good.
Can I choose Let's Go? Does that count?
Yeah.
Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee?
Yeah.
Smoked you guys. My last choice is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, because Eevee's just cuter than Pikachu, let's be real. Just another solid Switch title. What are you going to bet about?
Pikachu is definitely cuter than Eevee. Where do you land on this?
Tiebreaker.
Pikachu is cuter.
Yeah.
And that has been your
It's-
Pokemon draft.
It's very slight.
Eevee's fucking adorable. Oh, no one drafted Pinball. What the fuck, y'all?
Yeah, I had Puzzle League as well, which is just a match 3 game that I currently picked up, but it's
Nobody
addicting.
got Snap either.
No, Nick did.
I
Second
did. That
pick.
was my second pick.
I would have picked it really early. Too.
Coliseum. Did
Yeah.
anyone? No one chose Coliseum.
Coliseum
was
kind
gonna
of
go-
gets fit with Stadium. As far as I
Stadium,
understand.
yeah, and I know that people are more fond of Stadium 2 and 1.
Yeah.
I feel like than Coliseum.
Yeah, I had Stadium on there. Not
Expensive game. Same with Gale of Darkness.
And then I want to shout this out. I know that a lot of people wanted them to go even further with this game, and that's sort of how we got Arceus. But Sword and Shield felt a little bit more open than most Pokemon games.
Well,
And I
that's
want
right.
to
You
give
go
it.
Scarlet and Violet.
I know
More so.
it's Scarlet and Violet's like a better version of that too, but I wanted to give that the nod because that was the first time I remember seeing Sword and Shield, and I was like in high school, and being like, holy shit, like this is gonna be fucking awesome. It didn't deliver the goods necessarily, but it still was unique, and it was trying something new for the first time. And I was like, oh, I want to give that like a little bit of credit.
Would we have allowed remakes of games that had already been picked? I had
think
Fire Red.
I didn't want. That's why.
So like Yellow and Fire Red. was
that
allowed?
I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I stayed away from it for that reason.
I guess Heart Gold, Soul Silver would be disqualified in that
No.
case.
So you can take Heart Gold, Soul Silver, but
You just can't take-
I couldn't then take Heart
Crystal.
Gold. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that's why I was like, honestly, my goal with my team was to choose no mainline games, like no like this and that originally. Where
Nick was
I,
just trying to throw, basically.
no,
is what
like
he's saying.
here's the thing. This would be the drafted team if I could have it my way. Pokemon Go, Pokemon Snap, Arceus, which like once again that's not like a straight up game. Pinball and Stadium 2 was like the initial way I was gonna go down this and be like, that's a rocking squad.
No,
like,
it's
that's
a
lot of
bad
fun.
squad.
What? Pokemon Go is better than every title that you guys mentioned. And then
I
like
don't know about that.
and Pokemon Pinball is too. So
Okay.
dude,
I'm pretty happy with my list.
yeah, no, I love drafts, dude. They're so much fun. We should
Yeah.
do them at the end of every podcast.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good idea. Great idea. All right. That was your casual gaming conversation for this week. Please be sure to remember all the housekeeping updates, the Twitch, Torg coming up, merch, Discord, Apple Podcast reviews if you would like to help us out. Appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. Peace out.